Yes, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to another episode on the Life Signatures Radio. Whatever place it is that you're tuned on to the show, good morning, good evening, and good afternoon. This is a daily podcast, and I keep talking and teaching and inspiring and motivating based on the three subjects of purpose, productivity, and resilience, and anything that goes in between there. So if it's the first time that you're tuning into this one, it's a teaching virtual incubator for purpose, productivity, and for resilience. If you're looking for such a thing, that's what you can find in this episode. So if you stay tuned in here, you can be sure that you're going to be challenged in terms of what's the direction your life is taking. You're going to be challenged in terms of, you fail and how are you going to rise up? How are you going to be resilient? And at the end of the day, what are you producing in this life? We are in the middle of a series. We're talking about how you can rebuild a broken reputation. 7 ways to rebuild a broken reputation, and we've been dealing with them. Today, let us go deeper, even as we have started winding up on this one. Stay tuned.
Welcome to the Life Signatures podcast with Lawrence Namale. Lawrence is a life coach, author, and keynote speaker who loves to tackle different topics on purpose, productivity, and resilience. His mission in life is to awaken all your boundless possibilities available in you. Life Signatures podcast is dedicated to bring to reality every single person who knows that deep down in their gut, there's got to be more to life than this. And now, here is your host, Lawrence Namale.
Several years ago, I was on social media, especially when social media was not just a big deal yet. We only had, I think, 2 social media channels, maybe even 1. That was just Facebook. I do remember it as if it was yesterday. Somebody was kind of reaching out to me. I think I posted something nice or something. They reached out to me and I just brushed them aside. I was this cocky, I think, I don't know, some just bad behaved human being. And in a split second after I just posted against them and they read it, my heart just broke and I realized how much I have messed it up with this person who was genuinely reaching out to me. Even though I tried to apologize as much as I can, believe me, that was it. As in, the guy was hurt or the lady was hurt well enough to not consider me in their lives anymore. And they unfollowed me or blocked me or whatever it is up to today. That was a reputation or a relationship that went south. And probably it is just, in that story, it's just one person that is involved. But invariably, we find that a reputation goes into critical mass where there are more people that are holding you in a particular kind of a regard. And then you do something that messes that kind of reputation that you've been building. Remember, you've been building it. You build it intentionally or unintentionally, whatever it is, you're going to have a reputation as a human being. Once it's messed up, it becomes so difficult to rebuild it. But there is no other way. As in, once a reputation is messed up, we don't have any other way but to rebuild it. How are we going to rebuild it? Number 1, we've got to acknowledge that we've messed, right? Got to acknowledge our mess. You do your worst when you keep defending your mess. Stop it. You sinned. You did that which was wrong. You messed up. Acknowledge it to yourself and to the people that are involved. Secondly, go back to where things started going south and also go back to what you used to do before. The reputation was messed up. What did you used to do? Remind yourself of those things. In the Bible, 7 churches are addressed by Jesus Christ in the book of Revelation, the very last book of the Bible. And each and every one of them gets a message contextual to them, unique to them. And each and every one of them is told to remember, to go back, to do what they used to do. So remember to do that. Number 3, start rebuilding it. And as you're rebuilding it, remember, you're not going to go to what it used to be. It is totally messed up and it's different. It's never gonna be the same. No matter what you do, it's never gonna be the same. Never. Forget it. But it can actually be better, because right now you have the benefit of the mess of the first reputation you had, and then the mess which can be used, which we'll talk about, can be used properly. And then the third thing that you're having is a new rebuilt relationship. Now you're having a contrast. Of course, I've gone ahead of myself. Number 3, use your past. Number 4, use your past. Use that mistake. As in, don't be ashamed. Right? Don't be ashamed of your mess. Don't be ashamed of it, especially once you've started working. Keep saying, be the one that said, I messed. I am a mess up, I really did mess it up. Be the one who uses that shame, that embarrassment, to contrast what you were with what you are becoming, or who you are right now. Number 5, use an extra effort. Don't do the same things you used to do previously. Go one step ahead so that people can see this is different with this guy. And then number 6, start putting measures into place to protect you in the future. The first measure we talked about is authenticity, as in dictate what you're going to be doing and be authentic and mean it. Otherwise, don't even start rebuilding. Number 2, find some people, someone that you can be accountable to, because they will keep you in the straight and the narrow. Don't do this alone. Accountability is one of the greatest gifts we can give ourselves in terms of managing our own reputations. And then number 3, we said you need to seek feedback. Go and look for feedback. Ostensibly, just be this guy who's ravenously. I remember there's a time in college, someone wanted to pass me through some questions about myself, and I freaked out. I didn't want to know what I would find out. But if you're rebuilding a reputation, you need to buckle up for this feedback, because the feedback, when you address it, that's when you're rebuilding your reputation. Let's close that part. Number 4. If you are rebuilding your reputation, we said number 6, you've got to put measures into place. Measure number 4 is what? You need to be hypersensitive to address matters as they arise. Hypersensitive, I don't think I used the right terminology there. I think you need to be aware, highly sensitively aware of matters arising. There are organizations out there who know how to do this well, especially in the digital world that we live in, where things happen and within a second, the world already knows what's going on. Like right now, as I'm recording this, it just occurred to me, or it just came to me from social media channels, that the helicopter ferrying the Iranian president has gone down, they did not call it a crash landing, but they just say it had a hard landing, whatever that means. And they are saying that the rescue operations are in place. This is something that has happened how many kilometers away? I already know it, and I'm in a remote place in Africa. And that's why, if you're going to be in the digital space, you've got to put measures in place so that you can know what your reputation, what is being spoken about, especially if you're an organization. You cannot afford to not have keywords related to your name as an organization out there, always searching, always looking. I remember there is an airline that had this going on, and I think it's not an airline actually. I'm mixing this. It's a food store, a food chain store. What do they call those guys? There's a franchise, and there's a guy who was in a particular aeroplane flying, and a commercial airline, of course, and he tweeted those days when it was still Twitter. He tweeted and said, "How I wish I could get such and such a food from such and such a restaurant when I land." And guess what? These guys in that particular season had that keyword searching, looking for who is going to mention us. And they caught this guy. They caught this guy's tweet, and they went to work, and they surprised him. When he landed, they were there with his food. And guess what? He went ahead and tweeted what just happened. And the whole world that read this just blown away with the responsiveness. That's the word, responsiveness, that these people had. And their reputation went right up. A reputation management system has to be proactive. When you are caught, you caught napping, or when something goes wrong, one ought to respond immediately. You don't wait to hear from your neighbors. Did you hear what they said about you? No. Hey, you can't afford to do that. You are have you ever seen people saying, "I will get back to you," and they take ages to do that? You know why? It is simply because they lack a reputation management system that arrests matters arising as they arise, not waiting until things have gone awry and things have gone south. That's when you're like, "Oh, what happened?" No, if you're in the season of rebuilding your reputation, you must be the first responder. Move heaven and earth to make sure that you are the first responder. And I believe that if you had your reputation management system working, it will help you to be a first responder to anything and everything, good or bad, that is happening to your reputation right then and there. And that is the sixth thing that we've discussed about reputation rebuilding. What is the sixth thing? Having a reputation management system that is going to help you to rebuild it. Tomorrow we are going to start talking about the seventh way in which you can rebuild your reputation, and it has 3 parts which we're going to talk about, maybe 2 parts which we're going to talk about separately. But until then, bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to Life Signatures Radio. If you enjoyed today's show, subscribe to Life Signatures Radio on iTunes, Stitcher, or visit our website at lifesignatures.libsyn.com. Life Signatures Radio, fresh, clean, and inspiring.